Everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here after episode 7 of Survivor 47. And it was a dramatic goodbye for one player tonight. And we will talk about it all. We've got a great guest here with us from Survivor 45. Katurah Topps is here. Katurah, how are you?
I am good. I was going to say, where's the bell, Rob? I want the ding.
I got a bell for you.
I'm so
How are
excited
you doing?
Here. Sad.
Sad for Tiyana.
Circumstances. Yes. I hated that. That was heartbreaking.
Katurah, what's going on this season? I feel like that the players getting voted out have gotten very sad. And I feel like that there was a point in the new era, and I'm not sure what exactly the turning point was, that there was a point when players like, oh, you got me. All right, good job. Everybody, that was good. I wasn't expecting that. And now like players are like really like in their feelings.
Well, I think two things are happening, Rob. I think one, Survivor is just showing us this, right? Like a lot of times when people leave, let me just tell you, we cry. Like you do not get your torch snuffed and be like, do, 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 do. Like that walk away after Jeff snuffs your torch. I don't even like that I even know this reference, but it hurts. And I feel like a lot of people cry and like typically we just don't see it. And so I feel like they're showing us these and then they're showing us the ones that hit hard.
Yeah.
And then specifically, we're in the pre-merge. I mean, I guess technically after tonight we'll be merged, but like to get so close, everybody that we've seen is pre-jury. Yeah. And so I can't imagine that hurts 10 times worse than everything else.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to talk about it all. And tomorrow on Thursday. So first up, busy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you, Katurah.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
What are you going to be this time? What are you going to be this year?
So I'm going to be that my wife and I, that we didn't go too crazy, but we have like, we're going to be Price is Right contestants. What do you think about that?
Oh, okay. Who's going to be your host?
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, who's going to, just generally? So just you're a regular American?
Check it. You check it out. You check it out what we have planned. And then my kids are going to be, we have a Iron Man and a Wolverine.
Oh, okay, that's cute. Okay, that's cute. Okay, I like that.
My older son wanted to be Deadpool, but we said that's not appropriate.
Jesus. Wow. Okay. Yikes. These kids.
But I will also have Tiyana coming up on the exit interview.
Oh, nice.
So be on the lookout for that. And then Stephen Fishback will join me for Survivor Know-It-Alls coming up on Thursday afternoon. So join us at a special time, 2:30 Eastern for Survivor Know-It-Alls coming up on Thursday, a little bit earlier to accommodate some Halloween stuff. Okay, Katurah, do you have a costume? Are you going to do anything for Halloween?
You know, I'm not like a big Halloween girl. But when I do, I go all out, or at least I think they're funny. Like my best costume to date was when I was the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would just burst into rooms saying, "Oh yeah," big cardboard box painted.
Take out a wall. Sure.
Exactly, through the wall. This year, I think I'm gonna go as just free, happy, enjoying life girl. So
okay,
yeah, just vibing. Really, not anything really particular. I had a costume that I was gonna do with someone, like you'd be this and I'd be that, and then it didn't work out.
Not like a horse.
Oh my God, no, Rob, not like a horse.
That's like a 2-person costume. Somebody has to be the head and somebody has to be the butt.
I mean, sure, if we're going to go literal, of course, but I wasn't thinking in that way. The typical way of you do this character, I do this character that matches this character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. What were they going to be? Was it a Survivor theme?
No, it was, so apparently there's like this cartoon, God, and it's going to be terrible because I don't even know what it's called, but there's this woman and she's in like a little bikini top-ish thing. I don't know. It's
I don't know anything about this.
Lilo and Stitch energy of like the big sister of Lilo. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't
all
matter.
right, the chat will tell us. The chat will let us know.
Once I knew that we weren't doing it, I was like, all right, well, I don't think about it anymore.
Forget it. Okay.
This is how exciting I am.
And then also, we're going to have our patron Q&A coming up on Friday at 3 p.m. I'll take your questions about everything going on at this episode. So, yeah, a lot of intrigue with what happened here tonight, but also for me, a lot of intrigue about what comes next. But let's start with our top story at this hour. So interesting, this split tribal council and the way it's split, and that it was the 5 people from Tuku. And I really felt like that Tiyana was kind of out of the woods. We were all together in New York. It was 2 weeks ago tonight. And boy, things looked bad for Tiyana. Yeah. But then they got to the merge. And I really thought that, like, okay, that we heard Caroline talk about how I'm going to try to keep everybody together.
Wrangle everybody together. Yep.
Like, nobody's worried about the Tuku 5. They've got 5 that they're going to steamroll everybody. And then it just so happened that it ultimately, they got lucky at first with the draw and then unlucky with the advantage. So let me just start with that. Yeah. Do you feel like Rachel was going home had she not left?
Yes and no. Okay, so I feel like if Rachel didn't leave, that I know that Tiyana wanted to try, and I feel like they tried to keep us a little bit open. Like, is Caroline going to be on board with it? But I don't feel like she would have. And I know where Caroline goes, Sue is going to go, where Gabe is going to go. And so I feel like Rachel was dead in the water no matter what. But I think even taking it back a little bit further, I feel like this was writing on the wall for Tiyana even before we got there.
Yes. What did you see?
Because I'm like, okay, I think.
Also, shout out to Sifu in the chat. Sifu says she was going home for sure. Saul played that thing so well.
Yeah. Okay. So Saul, played it perfectly, but also, like, what other way would Saul have played that? Like, who else is he going to give it to? Especially since it had to be used at this tribal. Right. Who else is going to say, well, let me block your vote? Like, you don't know how how they're split up. And you don't really know what's going on. So you could have, like, messed up a plan by sending it to anybody else besides Rachel.
Yeah, for Saul, I don't know if he had to use it. That Saul has, like, no allegiance to Rachel. Like, there's a world where, like, Saul, like, did us a solid of, like, giving us an exciting tribal council by sending Rachel out of that tribal council with the safety without power. But Rachel could come back and start the women's alliance that votes out Saul when they're like, there's no guarantee that this was a good move for Saul.
I think it was a good move for everybody because it made that Tuku 5 have to address each other and break down, right? Like, so if you're not in the Tuku 5, it's great that they need to be attacked. They need to start breaking down anyway. I literally said this, like, last week on a podcast, like, I don't know why the Tuku 5 wasn't being targeted. Yeah. And it was just like Rome had such a big chaotic thing and people needed, like, an easy consensus vote. That's the only reason I think they haven't been targeted yet.
Well, just go back to this Tuku 5. Like, was this sort of like a little bit of like a bloodletting in that, okay, that we made them vote out somebody from their own? And so now is it like, okay, well, now we don't have to worry about them as much. Whereas if they would have come back 5 strong, hear me out. I
think it's the same consequence either way.
Yeah, because but couldn't it have united everybody against them had they come back 5 strong? And that for Saul, like, yo, this is actually what I need. That the 6 of us could stay strong against this 5.
I guess. I don't think it's as clear cut as that. I think the Gabes and the Kyles of a merged tribe are getting targeted anyway. Kyle's done 2 individual immunities now in a row. The only person to ever wear the necklace. Mm-hmm. And he's a part of the Tuku. He's getting targeted. Gabe's getting targeted. Those are going to happen whether the Tuku 5 stayed strong or whether they didn't. You know what I mean? And I think once you get those big shields out of the way, then the game is going to reset again and people are going to be more intermingling.
Yeah. All right. Katurah, you went through this in Survivor 45. You had the split tribal council right after Caleb does the shot in the dark. And then you end up in the split tribal council. You end up with Caleb and Jake. And that's the episode where Jake has a big plan. We're going to save Caleb. and then we need you to go along with it.
Yeah.
And
this was literally my episode.
Yeah. I forget, did he need you? You were supposed to go to Rocks or say you were going to go to Rocks. And then you were like, what do I need this aggravation for?
So crazy, the parallels here, because when Gabe was telling Rachel, I'm willing to go to Rocks, I was like, red flag on the play. Like, he's not going to Rocks for you. Yeah, it's crazy to see it happen. And ours also ended with just this really emotional, deep vote out at the end. And it just, I don't know. It was scary to see it happening again, almost in real time. But I think, okay, I like the split. I'm not bothered by it. I wish this happened when they first got together. Like, this could have been the mergatory, like the fact that we have so many players who are safe in watching other people. I would have loved for that to happen in Mergatory, because Mergatory just ended up being literally nothing.
Well, can I say something about this? Is very weird what they've done the last 3 episodes. We've had 3 episodes in a row where we have all of the survivors together, but we keep breaking them up into 2 groups. It's almost like I feel like that they don't want to have all the survivors on
together.
one beach for like we just keep like soft launching the merge and then like taking it back. 2 weeks ago, we had the Survivor Sanctuary or the Survivor Social Hour where it's like, all right, now we're going to put half of you over here and then we're going to take it back. And then we get to last week with the Mergatory where it's like, all right, we're going to put half of you in the challenge, then half of you go on the reward. And then, okay, now you're all together, now take it back. And then we do it again with a third different group of half the tribe this week.
Jeff is salivating. Like, he loves this, though. He loves splitting us up. And I mean, to be fair, that's when we see some of these biggest moments happen, because there is this tendency to, we're all together, let's go for the safe vote, let's do as much consensus as we can. People are not hitting merge vote 1 and 2 like, if you're a smart player, I think you're not hitting the beach being like, all right, let's get some stuff happening immediately. Like, you're sitting back a little bit, trying to fill it out. Let me assess the scene. And it's only after you're comfortable, the dynamics, that people are going to start making those big moves.
And I got to figure out who's gone to eat 3 times and who's gone to eat 0 times. I think Teeny and Sam.
For sure has been eating
Teeny
a lot.
and Sam, I think, have gone to all 3 of the things. They had hot dog, then they had charcuterie, and then they had ribs.
I was shocked.
And potato salad.
I'm wondering how those ribs were. Because sometimes the food is cold. So I'm like, are the ribs cold? Or like, are they hot? Are they tender? You can.
I mean, there weren't any left. So,
I mean, it's Survivor. Are you going to have meat on a bone left at any situation?
Yeah. I don't know. It looked like a hit for the people that
it looked like it did. Yeah. The ribs were gone. The corn was left.
They were out cold.
The corn,
after that.
People saying corn in the chat.
Yeah. So, but I wonder, is there anybody that hasn't eaten? Is somebody 0 for 3 on all 3 of the things? I would like to know that. But all right, I just want to go back to Tiyana. Okay. So with the Tiyana and Rachel thing. So we think that from what you're saying, that we think Gabe is lying to Rachel. He really just wants her not to play the shot in the dark. Do we think that when Tiyana talks to Caroline about this idea, that she's sort of like, oh, I think there's no bad ideas in brainstorming. I want you to be completely open with me, but I don't think it's the right time right now. How sincere do you feel like that Caroline was there?
I actually felt that was very sincere. I really liked this conversation for a few reasons. First, I like that they have this kind of disclaimer, like, we're allies brainstorming right now, right? Like, this isn't a moment to say, you said X name, go run away and run back, right? It kind of reminded me of, I think it was 46, but I can't remember. But yeah, it had to be 46, because someone was in alliance with Q or whatever, and they said, like, I'm thinking about this name. And then, like, all hell broke loose, and it was like, how dare you think? And I remember, it's like, what? You're supposed to be able to brainstorm with your allies. Like, you're supposed to be able to say, let's pitch it out. So I love that. And then I think this is one of the first times that we're getting a good glimpse into Carolyn's mind.
Yes.
I love that. And I'm like, she is the lethal weapon that Gabe is severely underestimating. And she has been smart enough to keep Sue in her front and play we're just the following duo.
She's
and
very good.
Be submissive. Yeah. And I'm like, I think Sue has that energy. And by her being the front face of the Carolyn Sue duo, Carolyn gets attributed to that. But yeah, Carolyn was super sharp. And I actually agreed with her that even if, Tiyana is right, coming back as a strong 5, everybody's going to be pointing to you. But if everybody's going to target Tuku, they're not going straight for the girls first. Now, the issue is Tiyana is in a different situation than Carolyn. So it very well could be that if somebody was going to target a Tuku, they would target a Tiyana before a Carolyn. So she has a little bit more to worry about. But I do agree with her. I think they would have been fine in that instance.
Yeah, a couple of those Caroline points that I want to touch on. The where Tiyana is gonna tell her about the gay plan, and Caroline is encouraging it. It's like, hey, you could be able to tell me anything.
And I like that.
But I think like that, and it's great. It's great, but it's like a Boston Rob thing of like, it's the idea of like, hey, I'm all about like honesty and openness when it's you telling me things. Like Caroline is not revealing to Tiyana also like, here's some things I'm thinking about. It's like, no, you just tell me what you're thinking about. And she's just taking it all in. At the tribal council, she talked a lot about the idea of, it's not just big moves. It's big, smart moves that you want to make in the game. And that's really what it comes down to. I think that she just has been an underestimated player so far, Caroline.
I think she's underestimated, but I think that's intentional on her part, right? I think Caroline is being very deliberate and who she's choosing to align with, what she's doing. And I like that because this is kind of why I feel like Tiyana got out tonight. I don't believe that you could be this big, strong woman, strategic presence in Survivor and make it through. That's why some of us lie about who we are and what we do. And you kind of, as sick and disgusting as it sounds, you have to shrink yourself. You do have to be a little bit more palatable for people to believe that they can get over on you, for people to underestimate you. And Tiyana's kind of a big, here I am, with the TK, I'm not backing down. Like I'm going for Gabe, when it's clearly like this really isn't maybe the best time for that. And that sucks because you really shouldn't have to, but it's like, if you're not broing with the bros, or you're the like one that they think they can, walk over and just lead you along the way, you're going to be considered a threat. And when people want to get you out, you'll be the first name up.
And Caroline, I think, is very unthreatening. I think that, like, even if you were just trying to, like, come up, like, name the people that are in the cast, like, she probably wouldn't come up until, like, maybe the 7th or 8th person. And you'd say, like, oh, Sue and Caroline. And she's just somebody that she doesn't stand out in like a big, like sparkly way. And I don't mean that as any like disrespect or shade. It's like a great camouflage.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. You almost forget about her. And that's kind of where you have to be, I think, in Survivor. Be forgettable on the outside, but still being lethal and strategic along the way. And I'm like, I see you, Caroline. I love it. I think it's perfect gameplay. But I like that she was a little sad about Tiyana going. It felt like it actually was heartbreaking for her. What, am I jumping the gun?
No, I wanted to jump on your point. So for Caroline in that moment, how conflicted do you feel like Caroline actually was? Because this was such an interesting tribal council, Katurah, because yes, there was no jury tonight, but there was a jury tonight.
There was a jury.
There was a jury of people watching. Basically, like it was so interesting that it was the Tuku tribe was having a continuation of their pre-merge tribal council with the audience of all the other players in the game.
Yeah.
And so was Caroline in any way, and this is how I get in trouble on the podcast, because I imagine things that are not there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think was any of this theater tonight?
Oh my God.
And I think almost always I am wrong when I make this claim. But was any of this theater from Caroline, that she was so conflicted, that she really was like, this was not like a easy decision for her. This was that she was, oh, Jeff, I don't know what to do. I'm speechless. This is very hard for me. Do you think that she was pouring it on a little bit?
Absolutely. I think 100%. Well, not 100%. I think there is some truth to her actually being like, damn, I don't want to let Tiyana go, because I don't think that Tiyana was like a harmful force for Caroline. It doesn't hurt Caroline to keep a Tiyana around, right? But I feel like when you are playing Survivor, what may hurt and be sad to happen versus what has to happen and what just needs to be done are two very different things. And if I'm Caroline and I'm in her position, I know we are not going to quietly get through this merge with 5 members of our tribe anyway. Somebody's got to go. And I don't want it to be the big guy.
Reba people did it with 4.
45, that's a whole
You were like the 5th Reba.
That's a whole different situation, Rob. But you know what I'm saying? Starting the merge with 5 when every other tribe just has, 3, 3 or 4. Like, and Tuku is big. Tuku is a strong overall force. You got the Kyle, you got Tiyana, you got Gabe. Like, it's a big, strong force, right?
Yeah.
If I'm Caroline, I do not want to get rid of my biggest shield, Gabe. It just can't happen. That gives me one more tribal that I know for a fact that people are going to come to try to get out Gabe before me. Yeah. So getting out Tiyana makes the most. It's like the only thing that Caroline can do.
So she might have like not wanted to see Tiyana go, but I feel like that she can't want to lose Gabe. Like,
yeah, exactly. So I think she was like, Tiyana, I don't want to see you go, girl, but it's got to get done. And that's where the little heart thing is. But I'm still going to write down your name.
Yeah, because I feel like that in the preseason, and I don't know if you thought this at all, but I feel like that Caroline, that her like preseason press, she talked a lot about how, I'm very blunt. I thought she was going to be like an Emily type. And she is not.
People say that.
She has not been like as big of a personality, certainly as Emily was on the show, and I think that works for her. I think that speaks to that she's been able to like be under the radar, which was something that Emily certainly was not in your season. But I just feel like that she does not seem like that she is like a very emotional player. And it seemed like tonight she was really struggling with the decision she had to make.
I think struggling is.
But that's why I think she was faking.
Yeah, I think she was like, struggling. I know it's got to get done, but I can humanize you and feel sorry that you have to leave. And you know what's really messed up, Rob, is I'm sitting there watching Tiyana cry, and I'm like, these motherfuckers about to let her go. And she's over there crying. It just is like adding a little pain. And I remember watching people leave with just devastation on them. Yeah. And that's what it felt like Tiyana was experiencing tonight.
It seemed like the moment was getting away from Tiyana a little bit, where she was in the middle and she got a bad seat. She at this like live tribal where she was in the front. And it was kind of sad. Like she was sitting there and we see the whispering happening.
Everybody behind her. And did you see, as soon as she's talking and Rachel's gone, Kyle and Gabe turned to each other. And I was like, this is my worry. I literally said when they were still just Tuku, pre whatever this chaotic connection combination is, that's certainly not a merge. I said, Tiana's in the most danger because she didn't start off by swooping up Sue and Caroline.
Yeah.
She went with the boys, which is fine. But if you're going to be with the boys, then you got to be the boy. You got to bro out with them. You got to make them feel super comfortable. And like all that TK stuff and everything separated her from them. And
she blew it with TK.
Yeah, she only has Kyle now. And so it's like Gabe is doing such a masterful job of having an intimate connection with everybody in the tribe. And so it's like, well, if you're going to be against him and he's got a connection with everybody else, that I think is her downfall, because she can't now rely on the girls. Like they might have a connection with her, but really it seemed from the edit, Tiyana only connected with the women when it was time for the TK vote. Before that, she was just broing out.
Yeah, she got snowed the whole game. She had that moment with TK on the mat where Jeff is like, oh, okay, I'm seeing some smiling, and TK was like, hey, I don't want any smiling going on. And then they had like a little bit of like an awkward moment there. And then they sold her like, hey, this is the epic boss girl move. Vote out TK. TK wanted to vote out Sue. If she goes with TK on that vote, I know it's going to be 3-3 potentially, and Gabe is saying he'll go to Rocks, but if they can get through that vote and Sue goes out, Tiyana's making the merge.
And she has a completely different situation. I know. And here's what's so conflicting about that, because logically that makes sense. But I also know what it feels like to be in that game and have a man just be disrespecting you. And it is really hard to swallow. And I think when Tiyana actually got TK out, we were all shocked because it goes against Survivor life rules. Like, it literally never happens, right? And usually in that situation, you would say, no, we need this TK person. It's pre-merge. We just Tiyana, you're out. And she would have suffered the consequences for that. And I think what we're seeing now is just the delayed consequences of that, because she lost the guys, she wasn't with the girls, and now you're viewed as this big, strong, powerful person who nobody feels they can easily manipulate.
Yeah, she never knew what was actually going on. I think she always thought, hey, it's the women, Gabe's on the bottom, and they did a really good job of selling her that for, you know, 2 weeks in the game, and to the point where then every time she had the chance, she was trying to throw Gabe under the bus, trying to throw Gabe under the bus.
She thought the girls were with her more than they were. And that's what hurts too, because a part of it is, you know, I wanted her to pick up on how close Gabe was with Caroline and Sue, because when she was mixed when they had, I think, social hour, and she's like blatantly throwing Gabe under, and Sue is over there, fierce Gabe truther, you know, like, oh my goodness, how dare. And I'm like, damn it, Tiyana, like, I don't, you know, I'm like, I read that these people are connected to him in a deeper, intimate way than they are for you. But, you know, maybe that wasn't as clear on the tribe as it was on the episode.
I want to go back to Rachel. We haven't talked too much about her, and she's in this predicament where she's there with the 5 people from Tuku, and she's really feeling like that she's in a tough spot here. How do you think that she did? She basically gets pitched a couple of different plans. She gets pitched possibly the idea of going after Gabe to go with Tiyana, but also Gabe comes to her, and I believe he says, hey, come vote with me and Kyle. We're going to vote out Caroline.
Yeah. I think the question of Rachel, exceptional as usual. Like, she did everything textbook what you're supposed to do. If you're in Rachel's situation, which is basically, I'm in the pot, the water is filled up, and I'm watching you about to turn the stove on, right? You are saying yes to every plan, everything. Sure, sounds great. I love it. Absolutely. And I think that while there's truth in Tiyana's plan, where she really was thinking, I would love to get Gabe out, right?
That was a real plan.
Yeah, that was a real plan. But Gabe's plan is so obviously freaking fake. I'm like, Gabe, come on, at least pick another name. But I guess, you know, Caroline might have been the only one. But to me, if I'm Rachel and I'm hearing Gabe say, I'm going to get out Caroline, I'm like, that's not believable at all. Like, I wouldn't have believed
that. Do you think that Rachel believed that? Because she seemed to think, I mean, in the confessional, that you don't think so.
No, I don't.
It was interesting. He said Caroline's name, though. Do you think that was like that? He said Caroline's name because he like loop Caroline in, like, hey, I'm going to tell her it's going to be your name, so that we try to get her to not play the shot in the dark.
Kyle is safe, and nobody would believe that Gabe is targeting Sue. I wish he would have said Tiyana, because I think that would have been a little more believable. But if I am Rachel, I am not believing that Gabe is going after Caroline. But I think if I'm Rachel, I'm doing the same thing. Oh my God, I so appreciate you telling me this. Thank you so much. Can I hug you? It literally kind of reminded me of the situation I had when Caleb was like coming to me, that almost this exact same moment in our season, and saying, oh my God, I want to tell you this information for the first time ever right before I'm about to get voted out. And I was like, oh my goodness, I so appreciate this. Thank you. You really helped me. This is awesome. Of course, I'll never let you go. And I just feel like Rachel played that perfectly. And if she had gone to tribal without that advantage, I think she still would have been gone.
I think so too.
But I think that that's all she could have done.
Yeah. Now, Rachel didn't rat anybody from Tuku out to anybody else. She doesn't go, at least not that we saw, she doesn't go to Caroline and say, hey, Gabe's saying your name. She doesn't go to Gabe and say, hey, Tiyana is saying your name. Do you like the way that she handled her business?
I mean, I guess she could have been a little more in panic mode and let me try to break them up a little bit more.
And that's a double-edged sword too.
But it's exactly. And it's like, you're already the person that's going to be the easy, safe vote if it feels like now you're causing chaos and you're like, what? Oh my gosh, she's lying. You know, if they're able to turn it back onto you, it's even worse. I do feel like if I'm Rachel and I feel that against the wall, I'm fighting. I'm pulling at every thread to see what sticks. And maybe she did, you know, maybe we don't know and we didn't see it, but it didn't feel like she did. But I don't know.
It seems like the one that could have worked was that to go to Gabe and say, "Hey, Gabe, you know, Tiyana was trying to get me to vote you out." I was when I went to the Survivor Social. She was telling me all about like, oh, Gabe does this, Gabe does that. You know, and maybe I think that there could have been some, but
maybe she did believe him. Then you think so?
I don't know,
now
but
I'm like, you're right. I think that her going to Gabe and telling him that, like, Gabe's ego, like, that would have infuriated him. He would have been like, let's turn it. And
but Gabe is saying vote out Caroline, so I don't think it was maybe Rachel bought it, but it wasn't. It can't be a legit plan. But all right, Katurah, we did not get to see when Rachel opens her bag. And that from what Saul read, it was like a take your pick advantage, which I believe is new. You have the opportunity to block a vote, which I think is also new. Chat, let me know. The block a vote or safety without power. Rachel, when she reads the advantage, says, hey, I got safety without power.
Yeah, I heard that. But it's also like, what other, like, what is she going to say? I have this option and that option. I'm going to choose safety without power. It's like such a meaningless thing. It's like, I got safety without power. Also, have we had safety without power in a minute?
Yeah. I feel like it's I'm not sure if it's I think that Drew in your season had it and it didn't use it.
I don't feel like I remember.
I think he had it, Drew Basile, and I think he didn't end up using it.
Okay, maybe that's why it's not fresh in my head. If Rachel played that damn block a vote, that would have been like, girl, go home.
You need more block of votes.
You deserve it if you're choosing the block of vote. Yeah, I mean, she definitely read it as if it weren't a choice, but I don't know that there even was a choice for real for her.
Yeah. All right. So she ends up playing safety without power, and she goes home. Right. How do you feel like that she comes out of this?
Smiling. Wonderful.
Yeah, but you think she's in a good spot moving forward? You think that she's like that?
She's in a fantastic spot. I think she's in a fantastic spot just because in terms of strong women. Now, see, I was nervous in the beginning because when I started the season, I was like, my winner picks, obviously Asia first, primary. We love you, Asia.
Sure.
But I was like, if not, then Annika or Rachel, because they are killing it. They're these strong, powerful women, but don't necessarily give off big, strong, powerful women, super strategic and smart. And once Annika was gone, I was like, okay, I think Rachel's got the best position. Yeah. And did you hear the way Caroline was talking about her? We all like her the most. She's the glue to everything. Yeah. She's the most dangerous.
We're worried about her. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like now, once we get back, the cards are reshuffled. The deck is shuffled, and Rachel is looking like, girl, this little bitty thing that almost went home. You lost your people. You know, you lost your Annika. You're at the bottom. You were with all these Tukus. You managed to scrape by, and thank God someone picked you up and saved you and gave you this advantage, right? And now people are going to be focused on the bigger targets. I think she's in a fantastic spot.
Katurah, so Rachel, I know, was an alternate for was it 445? Was Rachel out there with you guys?
No, Tiyana was out there.
Tiyana, okay, so Tiyana was the alternate for 45, and Rachel was the alternate for 46.
Which makes it even more sad.
Is that why? Now, did you have did you connect with her at all when you saw her there?
Yeah, so there are two people from my time at Pondy where I feel like the entire cast was like, we love you, even silently, if we're not talking. And that's Hannah and Tiyana. Yeah. Like, there is not a 45er who doesn't like Tiyana or Hannah. Like, they just gave off good, trustworthy, loyal, I got you energy. And that's why I was like, I really do. My heart does go out to Tiyana because nobody's going to play a perfect game, you know what I mean? But I do think she just fell victim to being just too big of a person. And people was like, hey, you got to go. So yeah, it sucks to have seen her at Pondy and then see her get the chance to play. And then this was just such a devastating exit, like the tears, the crying. I was like, oh my God, Lord, I hate this feeling for her. And get that close and not make the jury.
I know. It was her dream to make the jury.
I know. And then to be saying that, it was like some creepy, evil foreshadowing, like her crying and saying, like, oh, this is my dream. Yeah.
Do you feel like, Katurah, they were trying to
we love you, Tiyana.
Tiyana with her story in the episode. It was almost like we're ready to cue the Eminem that she was talking about how like, hey, you come out here, you have your shot. I don't want to miss out on an opportunity, and I'll be so upset with myself if there was a move that I could have made that I didn't. Do you feel like that she missed like a move that she should have made tonight?
Tonight, I think she was dead in the water. Once Rachel was saved, Tiyana was gone. And I think Tiyana was only saved because Tuku was merging and they needed to be collective. I mean, 2 weeks ago when we were at the RHAP event, we see Tiyana, or we see Caroline on stage or on the episode saying like, I got to rally all these people together and all these cracks and hold them together. And Kelly looks over at me and she's like, yeah, that was my life on Bello. And I'm like, it's true. Like all the fighting, the disagreements, the dislike, all that goes to the back burner when we are entering the merge and we have a strong group of numbers. And I think that's the only reason they hadn't targeted Tiyana and they were comfortable going for a Rachel because they wanted to keep that together. But basically we went back in time tonight and it was just as if Tuku had a regular pre-merge tribal and the writing was on the wall for Tiyana since then. So I think her mistakes happened earlier at Tuku and she just paid for them now.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning of the episode. And so we start off with Andy. And Andy is upset. How are you feeling about Andy?
Did anybody else think the whole episode was going to be about Andy getting revenge on Gaga? Like that's immediately
maybe that's foreshadowing. Maybe that's coming because he didn't have a chance.
Next episode.
Andy was upset. He wanted to know. I was the backup vote, he said last week. And Saul comes to him and Saul says, okay, Andy, I only did it just because I thought Rome had an idol. And Andy was very straight up with Saul. He's like, well, yeah, okay, you thought Rome had an idol, and that means you wrote my name down out of anybody?
So confident.
Saul?
Did he say, like, out of all the people on the tribe?
Yeah, there's like 11 other people here. You could write anybody else's name down. Why me? He's like, all right, with Sam. Sam did it. And Andy is shook. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what's Andy gonna do, and we see again. Andy is up all night. It was like going back to the first episode, and he's in his head. And we see the next morning, who shows up? Genevieve. Now, Katurah, I wrote an article this week for our newsletter, The Confessional, and I wrote an article all about Genevieve. And I said, I don't know what Genevieve's path is moving forward. I was like, okay, Genevieve is the one person that's all clean. Everybody else is covered in mud. Genevieve really is standing out, but I don't see like, I just see dead ends for Genevieve.
Yeah.
And what I could not have foreseen, and you could read that at the realitytvnewsletter.com if you want to read, but where I didn't see a path of Genevieve and Andy. What a meet cute. And to have Genevieve now, to rebound off of losing Rome
to Andy.
Now look, Genevieve likes a certain type of ally.
I was going to say chaotic.
She likes a chaotic, messy, a little toxic ally. That's the kind of person she likes to work with.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like Andy's a little more palatable than Rome, so I guess we'll give her a little slack. I didn't see the Genevieve Andy thing coming either, but it makes sense to me because Andy, I think, gravitates to a stronger, clearer strategic presence that can kind of help be a little bit more of a guide for him, right? Genevieve is playing the same role that Rachel presumably could have played with Andy initially. Remember, that was him wanting to gravitate
He's been
to
looking
Rachel
for this all season.
Yeah, and then Rachel was like, nah, a little too messy for me. And I wonder if that's going to happen with Genevieve, or I'm a little alarmed because Genevieve's been killing it, But when you look at the women who are killing it, I'm like, they're front and center. And Genevieve is not as, I think, low key as a Caroline.
Yes, Genevieve, just like, and that image was so striking last week where she was the one person who was clean while everybody else is dirty. It just even accentuated it more of how much Genevieve stands out from the group. I did think that Genevieve caught a break in the immunity challenge where it was Genevieve and Teeny on one side and Kyle was on the other side, and Kyle fell out. And then Jeff said, all right, we can stop the challenge now.
Yeah.
And it didn't end.
Exactly. I know. Yes, I know exactly what you're going to say. Yes. Keep going.
Yeah, it didn't end with Genevieve and Teeny duking it out where Genevieve ends up beating out Teeny. Maybe Teeny ends up beating out Genevieve. But Genevieve, that if she had the advantage. If she beats Teeny, it's all of a sudden people are looking at like her like a Franny. Where it's like, she's winning too much. We have to get rid of her. So I felt that she really caught a break. Her and Teeny both.
But I don't think that she is under the radar enough to where this break is going to actually insulate her too much. I think she's going to do something else big because she's a big player. But I'm worried about her target. Thank God they don't know that she's a lawyer. Like, it would just add insult to injury. But when she went to get the advantage, I was like, damn, like, it wasn't nearby. It required you leaving camp. It required you swimming all the way out. So now we see who's putting the effort out there, who's putting the energy out there. Then you get the advantage. I was actually grateful that she lost for that challenge so that it brought her down a little bit. But yeah, people are going to remember you were the last two standing. And then her being allied with Andy, I feel like it's just going to make her target glaringly more obvious because the contrast.
But people don't know that yet.
Yeah, but they might soon.
Yeah. Well,
it just started.
So at this feast, they started talking about, yellow and red, let's work together. There's five Tuku. We can do it. There's more of us than there are of them. Yep. But there's these two things going on where, yellow and red are going to work together. And all right, that sounds great. But Andy is on a vendetta against Sam. Exactly. So what do you think ends up happening after this?
By the way, I love this freaking editing montage of Andy just thinking and remanicing, and
it was like Genevieve had that earlier this season. The two of them are together now.
The editors are really kind of being like, all right, let's mix it up. Him giving Sierra a shot in the dark and Sam like, yeah, we got you. And then it just cuts to Andy writing Sam in the sand by himself and then everybody else on the other side. I was like, oh, I love that. I think Andy is going to look to Tuku because in order for him to turn fully against Gata, he's going to have to pull in some Tukus because old Lavo is going to be connected to Gata. And who could he pull in from Tuku?
Well,
got to be Caroline.
He had the amulet with them, right?
It's got to be, right? They already have that connection. She's definitely the kind of player that would be comfortable and warm and welcoming in. And then I think they're going to go and try to take out Sam and Sierra. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see it that way too, but we'll see what happens next time out. Katurah, also next time the auction is back.
I know. I'm like, this season is giving me such flashbacks. Not only is it our sister season, so like literally exactly this time
1 year ago, sure.
I was watching this exact scene play out with me in it, which is so mind-blowing. But also now they have a lot of the same things we have. And I saw them getting the auction. I'm like, damn, this is going to be really cool to see how they modify it from our version.
You think everybody's going to look for the money for the auction this time, right?
Who didn't do something this time? I think it was Rome.
Rome didn't look for gold. He didn't go look for the advantage. That was in a secret scene.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's gone. So yeah. And he's basically the Bruce. So yeah, I think everybody's going to look for it. Who wouldn't? Who's on this tribe? Who wouldn't?
Yeah. And I don't know. Some of them have eaten so much though. I don't know how crazy they're going to go at the auction.
You always want to eat at the auction. It's less about
you want
to
eat, but that Sam and Teeny might be like, honestly, like I'm kind of full. I've had like a big meal every single day for the last 3 days.
3 meals in 2 weeks is enough. Yeah, let me tell you, it's not. You still want to eat. I think I had pretty much every.
What'd you get at the auction?
Except for one. What did I get at the auction? Yeah. Damn fish eyes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, at least you got to go on the other things.
Yeah, the auction I had literally no food, which was kind of like, damn. Yeah.
Okay. I want to bring in some questions from the audience. Okay. But first, let me just mention, we talked about what happened with you 1 year ago, but it was 10 years ago that it was one of a year of crazy seasons of Survivor. And all year we've been celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Survivor Cagayan.
Right.
We've been working, Katurah, on our very first documentary here at RHAP.
Oh,
it's called I Stan Cagayan, and you can watch it on YouTube. Go to istancagayan.com and check out our interviews with players from the season, podcasters, Survivor alumni, and more. People have been really enjoying it. We were in Philadelphia on Monday night with the Purple Pants Badass, Bryce Isaiah, for the world premiere screening. And now it's available for everybody to check out. So we'd love to hear what you think of I Stan Cagayan. Now,
how wonderful would it be to, like, in 10 years, like,
I Stan 45,
like, making a stand for your season? Like, that's awesome.
Only 9 years now for you, Katurah.
Yay, Rob.
Oh. All right. So we have a tweet I want to bring up. Okay. Rachel ends up asking or saying, been waiting months to ask you for the odds on this draw, Christian Hubicki. Okay.
Well, that also just made me think about something else too.
What did it make you think of?
Do we think Tiyana should have played her shot in the dark?
I don't think she knew it was that dire.
Really?
I don't think so.
I mean, she did look shocked at the end, like with the vote, but I also feel like she felt like she had to feel a little bit of like the energy.
Yeah, Katurah, you would know better than me. I don't know about the playing in the new era, but I feel like that in Tiyana's mind, I feel like, okay, it's a 50-50 shot that Caroline's going to vote with me. I feel like she feels like there's a better chance Caroline's voting with her than the shot in the dark is going to hit.
Potentially. But if Caroline's with her, then that means Sue would be with her and Gabe would be with her. So she could play her shot in the dark, lose, and the vote could still go her way.
Yeah, maybe. We'll ask her tomorrow.
Like I would have been like, I'd rather try it than not. But yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So Christian Hubicki, crunch some numbers for us. Okay. All right. He said, all right, in 1 million simulations of this tribe swap, this was the 8th most likely way it could have gone down. He says that there was a 0.9% chance that it worked out this way.
See, Rachel?
Says, it's quite a rare event. Out of 1 million simulated tribe splits, 1 Gata and 5 Tukus was the second least likely configuration, only eclipsed by one of the 3 Lavos being stranded with 5 Tukus. Okay.
Wow. So, I mean, the fact that she managed to get out of this, right? It's crazy because the fact that it even happened is so unlikely. But also, how likely is it too, then that would happen, and then randomly that there would be this safety without power advantage from the other side.
Yeah.
I feel like she just got incredibly lucky.
So I think that there's some synergy here in that, she was lucky that the safety without power was available to her, but I feel like it wasn't necessarily just luck. I think that they know, okay, we're going to send one tribe to tribal council and then the other tribe. It was similar in Survivor 44 of, okay, one person from the reward team can send something to save a person.
Yeah,
and we had that like with Franny and Matt, and Franny wanted Heidi to use it on Matt.
I remember that.
Okay. Christian says, however, here's another fun wrinkle. In 68% of the outcomes, someone will be stuck on the losing tribe without any allies from their original tribe. So the twist is likely to produce a situation where someone might appear to need saving, adding stakes to the reward challenge. Okay. I also thought it was a great moment, Saul looking for the reward challenge. It was like, it's one of those things where it's great that you're just like yelling at the TV when the thing is right there. And everyone's like, it's right there, Saul, look at the thing.
I actually love that Saul found it right after Andy was looking, because Andy, as usual, I like where his mind is going. It's just the execution. Like I was like, oh, I wasn't even thinking. Have they been putting advantages? On reward challenges?
Not recently. I can't think of one that it recently happened on. Maybe it did pop up in the new era somewhere, but they had just played the amulets, and so Andy was looking for it. What do you think about Saul's very he was very careful. He got the advantage and then put it really where the sun don't shine, Katurah.
He really did. My first thought was those boxer briefs better be tight enough to where when he stands up, that doesn't roll out. That was my first thought. And then I was assuming, he knows the girth to strength of his boxer briefs and all of that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you can't be relying on the elastic at that point.
Exactly.
There's got to be some clenching going on from Saul.
It's got to be some tight fabric overall. But then I'm like, every advantage, I mean, aren't they all basically crotch stuff? Like,
well, typically, we've often seen
advantages except my genitals.
We've often seen players put the idol to the front. We have seldom seen a player go to the back pocket.
But you can't. I mean, if you're in Saul's situation, he's sitting.
That's why.
Look, reach in the front of.
No more dump out your bags. We need a cavity search. Also,
I know. Isn't that crazy? Like, there's really no way to ever know. Like, besides your genitals, where else could you put it? I guess your hair, maybe.
Yeah. Now, luckily, I don't think that Jeff or Rachel had to handle this specific advantage that Saul had. I feel like she probably got a different paper, didn't have to get handed into Jeff. So,
you really think so?
Yeah, because she was on another beach. I feel like that they probably you think that they have time to get from what Saul has on his beach to run it over on the boat.
I actually thought that they would have, yeah, but I guess not. I mean, because they got to go back over there anyway. And she said she got it 20 minutes before tribal, which is really what made me feel like,
and it just goes to show you, Rachel, when you think the odds are against you and the alliance is so tight, there's always a crack to exploit.
Or maybe a secret advantage that's coming to save you. Because this really wasn't her. Oh, I guess the crack is Saul's crack? Is that where you were going with that, Rob? Gross. Because I'm like, otherwise, she didn't really exploit a crack. She just kind of agreed with people's plans.
That she found.
But luckily, Saul's crack. Is that where we're? I don't know, Rob. Okay, I'm done with this subject.
You want a question from the audience? Okay. Sophie wants to know, what do we think flipped Kyle? I actually thought that Kyle is probably not going to get a ton of credit tonight, and I think he should get some because I feel like that he had the emotional bond with Tiyana, I think more so than Gabe and Sue and Caroline, and he went with his head and not with his heart, and I think that's not necessarily who he is as a person, and so I was proud of Kyle tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that too, but I don't know that it was necessarily him going. I mean, I guess it felt like Tiyana was just written on the walls, and it didn't matter how deeply you felt towards her. It would just be a really bad move to write anybody else's name. Like, what is he going to do? Write Gabe when he knows that Caroline, and it ultimately came up to Caroline, and Sue is going to go with Caroline, and Caroline's going with Gabe. It's like, what would you have done otherwise? I mean, him writing Gabe's name would just be like really extremely bad move for his end. So I mean, for sure, give Kyle.
It would have been a horrible move. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like the alternative is Survivor suicide. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then Nick has a question about Kyle. Does Kyle winning 2 immunity challenges put a big target on him, or does the fact that they were really only against half the tribe make it seem not as bad? No, I think it seems bad, and he's only beating a couple of people, and he didn't even last the longest in this challenge, but he still gets to get all of the credit. People, challenge beast.
Yep.
He came in third.
I think it's terrible. I think Kyle doesn't look as challenge beastie as he actually is. No tea, no shade, not negative to Kyle, but If you see Kyle, you're not thinking, whoa, challenge beast. And the fact that he has done that, and it's always going to be a target on you for the first one, the very first one, but then you do it in a row, anything in the row regarding immunity and challenges, it's already a flag for you. And so I feel like he put unnecessary attention on himself because people might not have looked at him initially just by physical appearance as being a challenge beast. And now they have stats.
Do you think he could have got votes if he wasn't immune? Do you think that could have been like, let's say like Gabe won the immunity challenge. Do you think that Kyle could have been in trouble?
Yep. I think he could have been an option.
Yeah.
I think his name would have definitely been floated around because he doesn't have as much social capital as Gabe.
And Rome really threw him under the bus last week with everybody.
Rome threw him under the bus.
And I do mean everybody.
Who has that vendetta against him from before when he wrote down Sue's name? Caroline might be more willing to go. I think if Kyle was free, we might not have had a 100% clear Tiyana vote the way we had tonight. So, I mean, his immunity did save him, and maybe that's why he's doing it. Maybe he knows.
Okay. This is an interesting question from Kira. Was it the best move for Saul not to tell anyone he found the advantage?
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a tough spot, a tough question.
Yeah.
Now, Saul doesn't have a ton of like natural allies at this point in the game. And, you know, we saw last season, you know, Heidi got the advantage, or I'm sorry, in season 44, when they did similar, one tribe was voting, the other tribe was safe. And she was like kind of put in this position where it was a public, they had to go out and find keys. So everybody knew she had the advantage. Saul was able to hide it, but there's going to be a lot of questions about like, oh, who did that? Who saved Rachel?
I kind of was feeling like I wanted Saul not to tell them initially, but once he read it and realized this isn't an advantage for me, this is an advantage for someone else, that I wanted him to tell, especially because the odds were so stacked against Rachel that minutes prior, people were saying, oh my God, poor Rachel. How could this happen? I hope she's going to be okay. Yeah. You know, you got GOTA members over there with you who are pro Rachel, who you want to work with. That could have like pulled them in a little bit more and been like, hey guys, I'm thinking we use this on Rachel. And then you can rally everybody else because you get the rest of the tribe saying, look, at the very least, we forced Tuku to vote against each other. And we make sure that we start breaking that up, which is what we'd already planned to do. And they're like, yeah, sounds good. I just can't imagine that it would go poorly.
Yeah. You make a very good point. I think that would have been a big hit on the beach. I'll just say, so devil's advocate for Saul not telling, could he frame a Sam or a Sierra after this of like, well, who do you think would have wanted to save Rachel? It must have been GOTA. We gotta break them up.
Oh Lord. Have you been using GOTA in this way?
A little bit. Jeff even said it in the first episode. He was like, and then GOTA's gotta get ready for tribal council tonight.
Oh my goodness. No, I agree. I think if he does that, that is going to be the only best case scenario. And just also playing a little devil's advocate for why Saul not saying it. There is also the possibility that people could say, well, now look, he saved Rachel. He's got this ally for life. She's never going to like not protect them. Now he has all the GOTA behind him also protecting him, right? That could potentially have been a target for him later. But I do think the bigger benefit would have been to pull them in. And the only way that benefit is not squandered is if he uses it to target Sam or Sierra. But then also, does that really help Saul? Because they were all willing to work together.
Yeah. I don't know what helped Saul. I think that Saul just like did whatever was going to be the most fun for the viewer. I really think that this like maybe this helps Saul, maybe it hurts him. I don't see that Saul's position was improved in any way, shape, or form by doing it this way.
Yeah, damn, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. But look, it was fun for us. So, you know.
Yeah, we had a great time watching it. And honestly, thank goodness, because we saved Rachel.
Yeah, we saved Rachel.
We had to see Tiyana go. I hate that. But I'm glad that we saved Rachel.
Yeah. Bummer for Tiyana, but Rachel lives to fight another day. And we'll see what. And Saul, this wasn't a bad night for Saul overall, because I feel like that there's some options for Saul that I didn't see coming into this
Who
week.
is
Where
Saul's
there's
number one? Who's
well, I kind of thought it was Genevieve, but maybe it's also like Saul, Genevieve, Andy. Could that be a thing?
Potentially. I know that it seems like Saul and Andy have some connection. And I guess now Genevieve and Andy. I do worry about Genevieve feeling like Rachel did about Andy and not holding him tight.
Yeah.
Or
where else is Genevieve going?
I was gonna say, or they're wanting to be, and then Genevieve is just so big of a target that she gets out first, and then Andy's alone again. Or without her, I should say. I don't think Andy will ever be alone.
Something else about this season, Katurah, and I don't know if you've looked at these numbers. So, all right, so we're on the same sort of like trajectory as your season was, and I'm not sure like at what day we were on, but we end up only doing a single tribal council and not a double tribal council. So we still have one more person than we did at this point in your season.
Oh, do we? Okay. Yeah, that's true. Not a double vote out, you mean?
Right.
Yeah, got you. Damn, that's true.
So I guess we're okay in case there's a medical evacuation later on in the season, but I feel like that and people have noticed that the finale projected date is a week later than it typically would have ended up being. So maybe we're getting some bonus Survivor, maybe.
I was thinking that would be just because everything with the election, that maybe they'd push it back a week. But
I think we're on track for next Wednesday night.
Really? No changes?
I don't think so.
Wow. Okay. I guess we'll have a new president and we'll be thinking about Survivor.
Either that or we'll be sitting Wednesdays. Yeah, we don't know anything. Yeah. So here's some, at least here's a show that has a vote that's going to end.
Oh Lord!
That they can. Here's a show where they say, "Let's go tally the vote," and then 5 seconds later, they tell you what the vote is,
and we don't contest it, and then
nobody contests it. The people are sad, but then they leave.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! I don't even want to think about what's happening next week.
Yeah.
Lord. But
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I wonder why, because you know what? Yeah, you're right. Otherwise, they would have had this separate group vote somebody out as well. Yeah.
I'm not complaining. Okay. Nick says, what's the best way for the remaining Tuku players to play when they get back to camp? Say it was always going to be Gabe and Tiyana getting votes on that, or it was going to be a 5-1 Rachel vote? Yeah, because they got to go see Rachel. They're like, Rachel, we weren't going to vote you out, right?
Yeah.
We were going, like all those plans we told you, we were going with them.
Yeah, I think.
And then Rachel be like, "Yeah, Caroline, Gabe said that we're going to Rocks against to vote you out today."
Yeah, I feel like they would have to say it was always going to be Tiyana. Like throw it on the person who's gone because they're gone. Like, yeah, that's the safest thing to do. I mean, what are they going to say? We were planning to be Tuku strong, and Rachel was an easy choice. And had she not gotten that safety without power, she would have been out of here. Like, that doesn't help anybody in any way because all the other players are still there, and Rachel is still there.
Okay. One more question. Okay. Logan Arnold Kicks says, whose chances skyrocketed after this episode and whose chances plummeted? Okay. So I don't know if we have to be that dramatic, but who's up, who's down?
Okay, let's think about this, Rob. Who are you thinking?
Caroline is up.
Cool. Caroline's 1,000% up for
Caroline skyrocket for Caroline.
Yeah. Stock skyrocketed out of control.
Okay.
I think Genevieve is still up.
Genevieve is up.
But it even just went a little higher as usual. But I think she's on an upward trajectory.
And I didn't see a path for her coming into this episode. So I definitely think that Genevieve is up.
Yeah. I think Rachel's up too.
Rachel's up. Yes.
Yeah. Rachel's really up. Yeah.
She's a player. Gabe dropped.
Gabe dropped for me. Yeah.
I think Gabe is still pretty good. I'm just worried that I feel like, okay, I agree with you. I think that Sam is going like pretty soon. But then I kind of feel like that after Sam goes, I feel like they're going to say, okay, now Gabe, you can go.
I think that the only reason Gabe doesn't go like in the next 1 or 2 would be people looking at Kyle because of the immunities.
Yes.
But beyond that, I feel like it would be Gabe because people are going to want a Tuku.
Yeah.
Period.
Let me ask you, I can't believe I bad job by me not getting to this, but that there was talk of the Women's Alliance. Now, there was a little bit of some discussion in Survivor 45, like for 5 seconds, that there would be maybe we should do a Women's Alliance. Maybe, and it was like around this point in the game. Do you see a Women's Alliance coming together?
No. Women's alliances don't really work in Survivor. Okay, let me think about this cast specifically. So we got Genevieve, we got Rachel, we got Sierra. I do think that we could see a group of these women working together because they're all very smart and they're all very strategic, and it's helpful for them. That's the point. It's never about like, are you a woman and I'm a woman? Yay. Yeah. It's like, is your goals going to be helpful for my goals?
Yeah. And it's great for the women who are on the bottom of the social, wherever the power is. If you're on the outs, you're like, hey, we should do Women's Alliance.
Yeah,
flip
exactly.
this whole thing around. Okay.
Exactly.
And that's good. But for the women that are in better positions, like it doesn't always make sense.
And those are the ones who deviate, and then it doesn't happen.
That's the thing. I can't see Caroline and Sue wanting to do the Women's Alliance.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I think the Rachel, Genevieve, who's the third? Sierra block could work. I think that works.
And Teeny wants to do it too.
And Teeny, yeah, I think that all works. But the other two, yeah, and Carol, no, not Caroline.
And Tiyana was big on the Women's Alliance.
Tiyana was big on the Women's Alliance, but she was also on the bottom.
But she didn't know that she was on the bottom.
To be insulated. I feel like Tiyana knows. If I'm looking at all the women, I'm Tiyana, I'm trying to find as much insulation as possible.
Yeah.
Purely even just initially on optics. But I feel like I think you're right, Caroline and Sue have really no reason to join that. Like
and Sierra won't want to do it until Sam's gone.
Oh, and then Sierra also, yeah. No, I think Sierra would be down to work with the women, but she wouldn't work with them exclusively. Yeah.
So we'll see. Katurah,
I don't think Women's Alliances ever work.
Well, Teeny said that they only worked in Survivor Micronesia, but we forgot about Kim Spradlin and Survivor One World.
That's true. But yeah, I guess, was that really Women's Alliance, or was that just Kim just leading?
I mean, it was the Women's Tribe.
Yeah. I feel like that was more about Kim leading her tribe, who happened to be women, rather than Women's Alliance.
Fair enough.
But I could be wrong.
Yeah. All right. Katurah, I think you did such a great job here tonight.
Oh, really, Rob?
Yes.
Seriously? This is my first RHAP one.
Yes. No, you were on point. This was a perfect job by you. And this is not easy to come in and do and do this live.
I don't know if you're being patronizing or not, but I'm going to just take it.
No, I think you did a really great job with this. I'm very impressed.
Well, you're easy to talk to. And honestly, we have a really good season. Like, I'm really liking 47. I feel like the characters are standing out in a way that I've been wanting. Like, we have a lot of spicy stuff happening. Obviously, I'm going to always have a special place in my heart because it's my sister season. But yeah, I just feel like we've had some interesting episodes back to back to back, and tonight didn't disappoint.
Yeah, it's been very steady this season. Like, I feel like that, like the last season, not your sister season, but the 46.
Yeah.
46 had like low lows and high highs. Like it was it was a roller coaster.
Yeah. There were moments.
This has been just steady.
Yeah, exactly. I remember moments in 46 where I was like, they did not need to make this 2 hours. And then there were moments in 46 where I was like, damn, I'm glued to the TV, right? And 47 has just been, I'm consistently enjoying it the whole way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like it. I think they're doing an amazing job, and I'm excited to keep talking about it.
Okay. All right. Brianna in the chat says, the Katurah press tour has been giving me life.
Brianna, have you been noticing? I've been trying to be active on this season because I couldn't, 46 is just so fast. It's right immediately after ours, and I was just like, let me find a little corner, baby. Heal, and now I'm back.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to be back in the Lone Star State. It's official. RHAP is coming to Houston, Texas on December 4th. And tickets are now on sale. And robhasawebsite.com/Houston if you want to be there with us. Patrons, they got the first shot at the tickets. They got the discount code. But for everybody else now, it's your turn. robhasawebsite.com/Houston. We had a great time in New York, right, Katurah?
Oh, we had a fantastic time in New York.
I meant to tell you, you were very fun on the live show, too.
Oh, really? Well, maybe that's telling you something, Rob.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just fun.
Yeah. No, you were really great on the live show.
No, we had a great time. I loved it. Although I will say I'm excited to do more panels with you now that aren't lawyer-based.
Okay. Yeah. You know, it's hard to figure out like the breakdowns of all the different panels of the live show. Like it's something, you know, you get like 26 survivors, put them in boxes.
Oh, I know. Exactly
not easy.
No, but it's going to be great. I feel like RHAP is always amazing. I'm glad you guys are doing Houston, land of Beyonce, and honorable mention to Asia, of course.
Yes. We'll see if her cousin might be there. Okay. Then also, I saw in the chat, Reagan wants to know, are there any tickets left for UNC on Saturday? That is a sold out show. I'm going to be at UNC Chapel Hill for a special Survivor screening coming up on Saturday night. I'm going to be hosting a panel there with some big surprise guests. Going to be at UNC Chapel Hill Saturday night. So I'm looking forward to meeting some of the North Carolina Survivor fans that have tickets for that one. But as of right now, that is a sold out show on the UNC campus. Okay.
Damn, congratulations, Rob. Killing it.
Well, it's going to be a lot of the students, these college campuses, they love Survivor. Yeah. It was a free show that they're doing with CBS. And so it's going to be a very fun night. And hopefully we have some clips from social for that. All right. If you want to, I mentioned my article that I wrote about Genevieve to win. Genevieve needs to get dirty. You could read that also for free.
Picture. This is a perfect picture. I love this.
Go to realitytvnewsletters.com for a weekly article written by reality stars about the shows that they were on. Uncensored. We let them write whatever they want, Katurah.
Oh, I love that. Maybe they need to have me on there.
You tell us when you're ready to write something, Katurah. We'll hold you to it. That's binding, okay?
Right. Okay, Rob.
You said it.
Talking about that binding.
Yes. All right. And then I mentioned it's Halloween coming up tomorrow. We did a very spooky, scary Brant Steele on Monday night, but it was a lot of fun to watch. Spooky, scary.
Spooky, scary. Right.
Katurah, do you know about the Brant Steeles?
No, I don't.
Fake Survivor. It was a fake Big Brother season, actually.
Oh. I've been getting in trouble a lot lately for not having a lot of Big Brother knowledge.
Why? Who's shaming you?
Big Brother people. And I'm like, hey guys, I gotta be true to who I am. I'm always
like Big Brother fans or literal Big Brother contestants?
Contestants. I know. It's just so much.
Do they know do they know everything about Survivor?
Exactly. And that's always my retort.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, Katurah, Big Brother's fine, but it's not Survivor, okay?
Is home. It's gonna always be home. Like, Rob, if you're crazy enough to literally go on Survivor, you know that like your level of love for the show is at an all-time high.
Well, do you know my backstory that I actually applied to be on Big Brother?
Oh, really?
Yes.
And then what happened?
I went through the casting for Big Brother, and I went all the way to the finals of Big Brother, and they didn't take me. And then, like 6 months later, they called me and they said, "Hey, do you want to be on Survivor?"
Wow. So you never applied to Survivor?
I never applied to be on Survivor.
What? And now look at you. Wow.
Yeah, I love Survivor. I love Survivor and I love Big Brother, but I thought I would die if I was on Survivor.
Yeah.
I said, "I'll go live in a house and not go outside." Okay, that's fine. I could do that.
And see, I feel just the opposite. I'm like, be stuck in a house with all these people for all these days. And like, one thing I can't get on board with Big Brother, I'm sure they wash the sheets, but it just feels like multiple bodies are in my bed. Like,
I think that you have your one bed. I don't think that they do a lot of bed swapping.
People just come lay on other people's
Maybe they
beds.
lay on it, but I think maybe they make the bed first.
Yeah, I don't know. Big Brother.
But that was Cirie had a problem when she went there. She had a woman who was her friend, but she would cut her toenails on Cirie's bed.
See? And I was just worried about bodies. And now look, cutting toenails and everything. I feel like being trapped in a house is 10 times worse when you're in that competitive state. Because at least while I'm playing Survivor, I'm like, let me go walk down this path. You know what I mean? Let me go touch this tree if I'm stressed out. Yeah. So I like the nature aspect of it more. But damn, that's cool, Rob. Congratulations. Must be nice to not have had to apply to Survivor and be on Survivor.
Look, it has not happened to many people, but that's how I got here.
Fancy. Congratulations.
Okay. All right.
Well, let me just tell everybody in the chat, I love you guys. I see a lot of support and I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here. This was awesome, Rob. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, this is great. Here, hold on. Look at her. Not
to close us,
yet.
But I didn't want us to end without people knowing that I see y'all and I hear you.
Katurah, that's the nice thing about being not on the show currently. It's all love when you're not one of the people that's currently on Survivor.
So why weren't you telling me that during my season, Rob? So I had something to look
forward to. I guess I should share that advice.
Yeah, people should share that more.
Yeah, it's hard being a person who's on the show, but it's actually very fun to be an alumni of the show.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think people
it's like a fraternity or sorority. It's like when you're going through it and you're trying to get in. Like, it's a little rough.
You're getting the knocked up. You're getting the taking the hits here and there. Yeah. And then once it's over, it's like, oh, okay, this is pretty nice. Yeah.
Okay. Do you watch The Summit, Katurah?
I do. I really like The Summit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a strong Summit advocate.
Okay, check out We Know The Summit. Chappelle and Taryn are breaking down The Summit. Episode 5 aired tonight. So check out their recap of The Summit. And then on Dancing with the Stars, that they did Halloween night. America Lopez joined Matt and Sasha to talk about everything on Dancing with the Stars. And then Friday, I'll be back taking patron questions for episode several of Survivor 47. Okay?
That's right. We're on episode several.
Yep. There we go.
Perfect. See, this was in the cards, Rob. I'm glad. This was literally perfect timing.
Yes. Why?
Because it's episode several.
Yes.
Because it's literally the episode that coincides with big changes in my season at this exact same time.
This is really where your game started to take off. You were free.
I was going to say, this is literally the moment, how I described it to people, I would say, this is the moment that I felt like I got out. I looked at myself in the fetal position, stood up and said no more, and changed the entire trajectory of my game.
Could Rachel potentially be that person in this season?
Rachel's not in the fetal position.
I'm not saying she's in the fetal position, but could she be the person that she was on the bottom at Gata? She was blindsided on the last Annika vote. Do you think that she could take some of these bonds she made here over at Tuku and end up sort of like you and hitching her wagon to Tuku?
Yeah, I think Rachel is so good at being able to connect with other people and pull them in that even when she was blindsided by the Annika vote, I didn't feel like she was at the bottom. I felt like she was just left out of that vote because she was connected to Annika and Sierra was going over doing Sam's bidding. But I was like, immediately after this, Sierra is probably what we're not seeing. Going to Rachel, I'm so sorry, please, trying to pull her back in. Sam doesn't dislike Rachel. They just needed to get rid of Annika. And then Rachel has this like ability to strategically pull these people in and have a strategic mind. I think she's going to be fantastic. I think what we're about to see is this hybrid thing happen. And I say, I think Andy is going to be at the center because all this foreshadowing about Andy leaving Gata, right? He's going to pull in other people.
He's the main character.
Yeah, I think we're going to have like this hybrid, all three tribe kind of alliance thing. And all the big guys are going to go, and then we're going to be left with these people. And I think Rachel is the perfect person to be in the center of that and not be the Genevieve.
Can Rachel and Andy get along?
Oh, yeah, for
sure.
So?
They're fine.
I think Rachel is strategic enough to know how to how to pull in Andy, make him feel comfortable. I mean, she did it before. Like, I think she can do it again. I don't think Andy is really difficult to get along with either. Like, I feel like that's pretty simple. And if you're smart, you would pull in Andy. I would pull in an Andy. What? Why not? Just gotta maybe watch him a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta watch him a little bit. Like, he's not gonna be the spokesperson for the alliance, but Andy gives loyalty and kindness and compassion. And like, I feel like if you were like, here's what we gotta do, it's gotta be done this way. And here's like, Andy would be like, okay, I got you, you know?
Yeah. All right, Katurah. And then a late breaking James Jones says, oh, someone didn't tell me they were going on.
And literally, I was going to say, as we were just saying that, I'm on my Mac and my text message from James pops up like, oh, so you're on Raw right now? And I'm like, James, I promise I would have told you, but
I just saw him on Monday night.
Oh, really? What was on Monday?
In Philly.
Oh, for the Kayan.
For the screening. Yeah.
I love that. No, see, we got good people in the chat. Also, shout out to the people who were like, yeah, Katurah had it rough during her season. I think what it was, it's just Reddit. It's just Reddit. That's what it is. Once you get past Reddit, Twitter is actually great. I feel like Twitter is...
It depends on the day.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Because I was like, in this moment, I was like, yeah, I changed paths. I created a path for myself. I got up on the floor.
You forged your own path.
This is when everybody was like, you got Caleb out. We hate you. And I was like, oh, right. Y'all don't like that. Okay, got it.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was wonderful to have you here, Katurah. Come back anytime. I'm glad that we did this here tonight. In the morning, I'll talk to Tiyana, and then Survivor Know-It-All is coming up on a busy Thursday. Make sure you subscribe to everything we have over at WeKnowSurvivor.com. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.